we've got a Living Off Rentals Facebook group, and the question comes up all the time in that group, like, what is the best management software? And I know Zebo isn't necessarily a management software, but it has some components of that. And Cozy is one that gets suggested a lot. Stessa is another one. What makes Zebo different? I guess if you could go through Zebo a little bit and kind of what it is and what it's not, and why it's different from some of those other ones.
Right. Great. Listen, I think Zebo, our vision is to become the go-to platform for the independent landlord to fundamentally transform their experience with financial services and property insights. And that's our vision. Now, what does that mean? You said we're not a management company, and you're 100% right. But what we are is a one-stop shop for property financial management. So if you want to do anything with your property that has to do with the core financial platforms that you need, one is banking. Most financial or most independent landlords are using their banking account as their ERP system or as their software. It's how they keep track of accounting. It's what they use to do their tax prep. And so our first pillar of our business is banking. And so we in less than a month, July 9th, we'll have an FDIC insured operating account for your core operating account and security deposit accounts. And what we do that's fundamentally different than any other bank out there is twofold. Number one, we provide you with software on top of that that helps you manage end-to-end your cash flow. So landlords want passive income. Think about it as passive cash flow, and it's neither passive, and sometimes that cash flow is zero or negative or pain in the ass to get. And what Zebo does is it starts with that banking platform as its core to provide that FDIC insurance. Number two, we provide interest on that cash, on even your checking account. So we have a landlord checking account where with all that excess cash that you have in that account, you get interest on. You also get interest, the same amount of interest in your security deposit account. We don't differentiate. If you have cash with us, you're going to get interest on that account. It's roughly 4 times the national average.
Wow.
And so that's kind of the first pillar. The second pillar is really around end-to-end cash management on top of that banking account. And what does that mean? It's automated rent collection. So think about today, increasingly, especially with COVID, people are going to start moving all of their rent collection to an online platform. But 80% of rent collection today is still check, cash, and money order. And
really?
I'm sure you, unbelievable.
80%. Holy cow. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So what Cozy does is they just do the ability to do background checks, application, all that stuff, and then they'll collect electronic payments. Because Zebo's integration with the bank, we could do all of those things: check, cash, money order. And by the way, every other form of payment, credit card, debit card, you name it. So if you want to accept rent from tenants in a flexible manner in the ways that they want to pay, and even convert from check to, say, an ACH payment, Zebo will do that for you in an automated fashion and make it turnkey. So that's the first part of cash management, is cash coming in. The second part of cash management is all the expenses and bills you have, some recurring, some not. And the real pain point for landlords around that, because everybody can pay a bill. They know how to pay a bill. They can write a check. They can, do ACH and use a credit card, whatever. On Zebo, you can do all of that. But at the time of the transaction, you can tag that transaction to a property and to a Schedule E bucket, which Stessa allows you to do. But you can't do that in one environment. And in Zebo, you can do all that in one environment. So you can keep your banking and all of your incoming cash collection and your outgoing cash payments straight. So that at the end of the year, you hit a button and you get Schedule E worksheets for every one of your properties.
Wow.
And because we know that every landlord likes to put certain additional items like marketing expenses into their Schedule E's, we allow you additional line items that you can actually put in additional expenses, roll it up, and you push that out to either your QuickBooks or your CPA. We don't try and replace CPAs. CPAs are our friends. We don't try and replace QuickBooks. If you're using QuickBooks, you can use the data that comes out of Zebo to do that. But the other thing that's really remarkable about Zebo is If you sign up for this cash end-to-end cash management platform, which includes the banking, automated rent collection, and bill payments and all the expense management around it, we then help you automate the ability to get competitive insurance and loans. And so instead, think about a rent roll. Landlords have to fill out these rent rolls. Pain in the ass. Oftentimes, sorry, I didn't mean to. I know this is a live broadcast. It's a pain.
We'll let it go.
It's pain somewhere. I apologize for that. It's a pain somewhere. And the reality is that landlords, if they've got all these transactions that are being classified, should be able to hit a button and have a rent roll pop out that they can send for a refinancing, or if they're selling a property to the potential buyers. And that Zebo enables. And so we start to basically take the data that you've given us access to, and the motto that we have internally is a customer should never have to give us the same piece of data twice. So think about that. You go, how many times do you give the insurance company the same data you just gave the lender? Yeah. And you want to do, God forbid, you want to do multiple applications for a loan, or multiple applications for a insurance. I mean, that's a lot of admin work. Yeah. You don't have to do that on Zebo ever again.
Wow. So, and you have like preferred, like, so if, I know a couple popular ones are like Lima One and Finance of America are big into the lending on tenanted properties. So do you have lenders like that are preferred? They're built in your system, and if they see X, Y, and Z criteria from a landlord, it's a no-brainer. They click yes, it's approved.
So we get credit boxes from our lending partners. So they basically tell us, listen, we'll underwrite a multifamily loan between X and Y. It can't be student housing, or it can be, or whatever those are. And we have a cultivated set of lenders. So then we essentially have a very simple front end digital questionnaire. We follow up with several of the various different forms that you can do online. And then we essentially match the borrower to the right lender to get the right loan. And so that's the way that the platform works. It's not a reverse bidding process, meaning that you go and you enter in a bunch of information, you fill out this massive form, and then you get all these bids. And I don't know if you've done that before, but you basically end up getting calls from everybody and their brother, and it gets a little bit crazy, and I won't say any names. We try and do a lot of that work for you. So our segmentation engine tries to match, whether it be insurance or loans, the right demand or the right type of loan to the right type of lender.
Wow, that's awesome. So tactically, then the bank account itself is opened in the name of your LLC.
Could be like LLC or individual. Believe it or not, 70% of people still own their properties in their own name.
I see. Okay.
So, it's like a 70-30 mix. So we offer both sole proprietorship, which is in your own name, and LLCs.
Yeah.
And what's even more remarkable is that a lot of our customers have both. They'll have some properties in sole proprietorship, some in an LLC, or multiple LLCs. In Zebo, you can pull all of those things together in one place. So if you have bank accounts spread out all over the place, you pull them into Zebo, and in one logon, you can not only manage your Zebo accounts, but you can manage all of your accounts. And you can do all of the expense tracking across the entire, in your entire banking network.
Wow.
We have lots of landlords that have north of 10, 20 bank accounts, because they have a combination of operating accounts spread across 5 banks, and security deposit accounts all over the place. God forbid, we also have a bunch that commingle, but that's obviously, the local regulations are pretty clear around some of those things. But, being able to have one logon to manage all of your property financial assets is really unique. And and you can do that today. You can log on to Zebo today, link all your bank accounts, and automate rent collection. And in 3 weeks, you'll be able to set up all your bill pay, expense management, your banking, everything.
I just wrapped up a fantastic interview with Chris Shue. You know, what you just saw is a clip from that interview. But if you want to see the full interview, you can go to the Living Off Rentals podcast on any podcast player and check it out. Also, you can join us in the Living Off Rentals Facebook group. It's an awesome, engaged community, not a bunch of spammers. It's actually real investors who are talking real investment questions and conversations. So definitely go over to Facebook, join that community, and I will see you in the next video.